I haven't done one of these in a very long time, but here we go. Here's Imola. I did record one yesterday, but I changed my monitor so the settings are incorrect for the recording. I'm a bit sick, so I might be coughing throughout the lap guide, but yeah. So this lap was already started. This lap was a 129.285. Pretty decent lap, I'd say. Definitely good for race pace. Fastest lap you'll see in the week, most likely anyway, unless someone else takes it. But at this point, I don't think someone will. Yeah, pretty good lap. It was done on lap 5. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So on the straight, you can cut as much as possible here. It's pretty simple. Then here, you can just cut as much as possible. Then here, we brake at the access road. It's on the right hand side. It's a pretty good braking marker. I'd say you could brake a little bit later. Maybe, yeah, here's fine. You might see a lot of pedal overlap, by the way. It's something that I'm trying to get rid of. It's a bit of a bad habit. Don't know where it came from, but yeah, there we go. Right, so you can brake here. And we shift down into third gear. Just go right as much as possible. Use all the track. Okay, so you don't want to hit these sausage curbs here. You want to get as close as possible to them, but do not hit them. The fixed set is quite understeery, so I use my brake bias on 48.25 usually, or 48, depending on how hot the fronts get. So yeah, you can get a little bit closer than this to the sausage curve. There's a bit still left in the tank. Yeah, so get as close to that sausage curve. Then get as close to these ones, but do not touch them. I get spat really far to the left here. It doesn't matter too much if you can't take this flat out, but you don't want it to be to the point where you're lifting a lot. Like, it should just be a little bit of a lift. You can clip this sausage curb, but I wouldn't clip it too much because it can unsettle the car. If you do clip it, you can lift, which I'll do here. Boom. And then you can get back on throttle as soon as the car settles. Track limit is literally about here. Most of the track limits around the circuit are literally just 2 wheels on the curb. So this is as much as you want to take. Okay, shift down into 5th and 4th. And we can take these sausage curves, but you need 2 wheels on the circuit. You cannot have any more. You can cut more than this, but you need at least 2 wheels on the circuit. If it's on the curb, you'll get a slowdown penalty, which is something that you don't want. So make sure that you have 2 wheels on the circuit. You can cut this as much as possible. I can still cut more, like I should have done here, but we still had some left in the tank. This is not the fastest lap. I think, I still think there's some left in it. I feel like maybe a 28 is possible. A high 28 is definitely possible, actually. My optimal sectors show that a 28 is possible, so yeah, there's some left in the tank, but that's just a minor mistake. So the interesting thing about this corner is when you get to here, you can sort of lift. You can lift off the brake, and then you can coast for like a slight amount. It's when you hit this left curb, the car becomes pretty unsettled, and you don't really want to be caught on the brake because you'll get micro locking, especially on the rears, because you have rearward brake bias as well. So what will happen is the car will feel sketchy around this corner, so you can lift a tiny bit when you get over the curb, and then get back on the brake, shift that into the 3rd. Don't hit this sausage curb. This is as much track limit as you want to take. So as long as 2 wheels are on this, just on the circuit, then you're fine. You cannot scrape the gravel at all, you'll get an off track. Brake, you can brake pretty hard. Not to 100% though, it's around 80%. And then we shift down into 2nd. I take a very weird line, to be honest. It might not even be, I don't think it's optimal. So yeah, I take what I say with a grain of salt, but I sort of stay out wide and then dive in. So I take this in 2nd at this point, and then I shift late into 1st. And you can run it all the way out right here. So for this, you can just cut as much as possible, because you can take this flat regardless and prototype fixed. You don't really have to worry about tyre wear. Imola is also really low for tyre wear. Your tyres never get that hot. The hottest part of your tyres will probably be the right hand side, but even then they're not hot. like they're not too hot. They're actually pretty cool. So you have very little tire drop off, so you can just cut this. It doesn't really matter. So we brake at the 50 board, shift down to third, and make sure you balance the car on the brakes, no coast. You can hit this curb as much as you like. And then here the off track is 2 wheels on the curb. You can use this drainage pipe. In this lap I was sort of getting used to using it because I had a bad habit of not using it, but definitely use it and then just dive in. So you can brake later than this. You can literally brake where my mouse is here, so during a late entry, and you can run over this like grass, this Astro patch. So you'll have like a slight lift off the brakes when you go over this, because you'll get some rear locking, and then you can apply the pressure again. Use this outside curb here. We could use way more than this, to be honest. I started integrating it into my later laps, and it's definitely faster if you use more. So yeah, use more than that. So second gear and just hold the brakes. Get as close as possible, but do not hit this curb too much. And then just get back on throttle. And the track limit is literally right here, what I am at right now. So you can use anything as a point of reference. So 2 wheels on this curb. Okay, so for the final chicane, you brake in between the 100 and the 50 board. It's closer to the 50 board. Maybe you could push this slightly bit forward, the braking turn, but I just brake earlier here. I mean, people skew this up so much. Like, every time I look at my delta, someone really falls off here. Like, I don't know, people just struggle with the chicane. So, fourth gear, and then, sorry, not fourth. Go shift down into second. Cut as much as possible here, but you cannot have your wheels on the grass. That's the track limit. And then what we do is we lift off the brake completely and coast for a tiny bit when we jump over this curb. As soon as we land, we get back on the brake, and then you can hit this. And again, don't put your wheels on the grass, otherwise it'll be an off track. And then we can run all the way out wide here as long as 2 wheels are literally on the curb. Boom. We'll look at that from chase view. So boom, and then boom. That is literally the track limit that you want to take. That was pretty perfect, that chicane. Okay, so I don't know why people don't do this, but you can literally get on this curb. I keep saying literally, stop saying it. You can get on this curb because it's not that bumpy. I mean, it is like a slight 3D curb. Like, there is some change of there's no change in texture, but there's just like it's slightly raised. So you can brake at the 100 board. You can brake slightly later than this, I'd say. Slightly, not by much, but slightly. And just use the curb and shift down into second. Boom. And then it really just opens up the corner. It's so much faster. I don't know why I wasn't doing it before. It's very usable. Maybe in some cars it might not be, but for the Porsche, 100% usable. Hit this as much as possible. Like, just cut. You won't really run into off tracks here. And then you'll get spat out wide naturally. 2 wheels on the curb. Dive in second gear. Slight brake. You don't really want to brake before you land. You want to land and then brake, because you'll get some locking and then it will mess up this corner. You'll also get mainly oversteer in this corner, so make sure you're like dynamically changing the brake input to compensate for it. And then just run it out wide and short shift into third at this point, because when we hit this curb, what happens is the rev lights, you will hit the limiter and it'll slightly compromise your exit. And then just cut this as much as possible, and there you go, at 129.285, pretty decent lap. So let's replay it start to finish without me talking. that is a full lap around Imola. So yeah, I will make more of these. I think I want to do some more technique specific videos. I know that someone a while back said that they find theirs more helpful, and I see why, because it's transferable to each and every track. But yeah, I need some ideas, to be honest, because it's like it's hard to explain, but some of the techniques that maybe I do it subconsciously, so I can't really explain why I do them. Well, I can explain why I do them, but I can't think of them, if that makes sense. So if some of you guys are struggling with XYZ, it'll give me that idea, and then I can sort of translate it into words, and then yeah, that'll just make it easier to do these technique specific guides. I mean, there's so many that you can do, right? It's like infinite. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've done one of these because I've just been busy with other stuff, but I've found more time for it recently. And yeah, I've just been trying to rebuild back my pace, because I felt like when a new tire model came in, I stopped racing as much, and it just fell off a cliff in terms of pace, and I just didn't want to really post the videos because it was just like I was slow as a bus. And it wouldn't really help any of the people that are watching. So I was just like, yeah, I need to work on the pace, and I feel like my pace is getting there now. We're just doing the IMSA qualifying, the IMSA esports qualifying, and yeah, the pace is not too bad at this point in time. Like it's pretty decent, especially for 5k. But I feel like I shouldn't. I mean, it's a bit egotistical for me to say, but I feel like I shouldn't be at 5k. I feel like I should be higher. And so we're just going to try and work on that pace and that I rating, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, it's been quite fun actually. I'm really enjoying the sim racing hobby as a whole at this point. So yeah, and then also I'm with Manatee Racing now, so it's a very good team, and I'm really enjoying my time there. So yeah, thank you for watching.